Hello, it's Gudmund. Welcome back. Welcome to the channel. So, tonight we are going to be reading The Frog Princess. This looks like a very good book. Very interesting. The princess doesn't look very amused. I think she's tired. Anyways. Retold by J. Patrick Lewis. Paintings by Gennady Spirin. I think I said it right. Anyways, let's get to it. Oh, Alex, can you help me move the pages? Yes, I can. Alright. Alrighty. Retold by J. Patrick Lewis, The Frog Princess, a Russian folktale. Ooh, look, there she is. Looks like she's got a feather. Alright. Once, long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a great Tsar who had 3 sons. When it came time for them to marry, the Tsar called the princess to his side and said, "String your bows with the strength of 10 men and shoot an arrow as far as you can into the heart of Russia. Whoever finds your arrow shall be your bride." Interesting. When they did as their father commanded, the eldest son's arrow was discovered by a nobleman's daughter. The second son's arrow was found by the daughter of a wealthy merchant. The third son, Prince Ivan, shot his arrow farthest of all. A day and night passed as Ivan searched the woods and meadows. At last he came to a mossy swamp, and there lay his arrow, in the mouth of a little green frog. Ooh. Oh, you see the frog down there? Hopefully, never mind, let's continue. Prince Ivan wept bitterly at the sight of her. "How can I marry you?" he cried. "That's not very nice." "If that is your fate, dear prince," the frog croaked, "then make me your bride." The young prince remembered his father's command. Sadly, he put the frog in his pocket and returned home. When his brothers saw Ivan's bride-to-be, they laughed and laughed. But the very next day the weddings were held in the grand palace, and the 3 princes married the 2 maidens, and the frog carried on a silver platter by the imperial guards. After the wedding, the feast, the Tsar wondered which of his daughters-in-laws was the cleverest. So he said to his sons, "Tell your wives to weave me the finest robe in the land." Well, you can imagine Ivan's despair. That night he told his wife about the Tsar's command. "A frog can't stitch a button on a sleeve, much less sew a fine robe. Oh, that was very nice. What am I to do?" "Sleep well, Prince Ivan," croaked the frog. "Morning brings its own surprise." As soon as the young prince had gone off to bed, the frog gently removed her skin. Oh, okay, interesting. Instantly she appeared as Vaseline? No, not Vaseline. Vasilisa, the wise, a radiantly beautiful princess. Throwing open the window, she sang to the wind, "Come to me, night maidens, and weave Tsar's robe like no other." Interesting. And so it was done, before Ivan awoke. The next morning, the night maidens had returned with their treasure. His frog wife perched herself on the elegant sleeve of a velvet robe, ringed with rubies and emeralds. Ivan was so overjoyed that he ran to show the robe to his father. Sitting on his throne, the Tsar looked over the two flimsy garments that the other wives had made. "This coat isn't for a blacksmith," he stammered angrily. "And that one? Give it to the royal butler." But the Tsar marveled at the frog's creation and wrapped himself in its rich brocades. Then said to his three sons, "Now let's see which of your wives can bake the most delicious treat for the royal table." Interesting so far. The young prince pitied himself the whole day through. When the night fell, he trudged back to his chambers. "What is it, Prince Ivan?" the frog wife asked. "Is the Tsar displeased with my gift?" "A frog can't bake a tart," Ivan wept, "much less treat fit for royalty." "Sweep well, dear prince," said the frog. "Morning brings its own surprise." Again he went off to bed, and again the frog climbed out of her frogless self and into Vasilisa, the wise, and she flew to the window, singing to the wind, "Night maidens, if you please, bake a I hear a baby. Anyways, I must go investigate. Hold on. I'll be back. Anyways, I took care of that. Anyways, delicacy fit for His Majesty. The next morning, the frog was sitting there beside an enormous cake. Overcome with joy, Prince Ivan ordered the guards to take it to the palace at once. There on the throne, the angry Tsar glared at his elder son's wives. Royal treats indeed. A lumpy tart, oozing pudding all over the carpet. A ginger cookie that nearly chipped his tooth. "Enough," bellowed the Tsar. "Can no one bake a royal treat? Very rude." I really don't like the princess at the moment, the frog one. Everybody else is rude and mean. Let's see. Just then, the frog's creation was carried in. The entire court gasped. A wedding cake in the shape of the grand palace itself, glittering with candy domes and sugar spires. The Tsar happily called to his three sons and said, "A royal pastry calls for a royal feast. Tonight we'll have a grand ball, and Ivan, don't forget to bring your little green bride." Prince Ivan returned to his frog wife, hung his head in shame, and told her about the feast to come. This guy, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. He is too... My goodness, let's get back to the story. Anyways. A frog can't even curtsy, much less dance. Never mind. What am I to do? Have no fear, Prince, said the frog. Go to the ball alone. When lightning flashes, tell the guests my frog wife has arrived. That evening Prince Ivan had no sooner entered the palace, bustling with hundreds of guests, than his brothers began laughing. Well now, Ivan, where is your little green wife? Kind of adorable sounding, little green wife. Have you left her at home to charm the lily pads? Moments later, lightning bolts creased the night sky. Embarrassed but gathering all his courage, Prince Ivan stepped forward and spoke. My frog wife has arrived. A royal coach and 6 white horses clattered into the cobblestone courtyard. The guests gaped out the windows as a beautiful woman, it was Vasilisa the Wise, stepped from her carriage. Her hair was the color of the sun, her eyes the color of the sea, and her dazzling gown was adorned with pearls. Followed by the night maidens, she swept into the great hall and took her astonished husband by the hand, as the guests stared in amazement. Envy seized the wives of the 2 elder brothers. They watched Vasilisa closely and secretly vowed to imitate everything she did. At the splendid banquet table, the guests ate, drank, and made merry. Vasilisa dined on a roast swan and daintily tucked the bones up her right sleeve. She sipped the wine, then poured a few drops on her left sleeve. The 2 sly wives did likewise. When Prince Ivan and Vasilisa the Wise began to dance, she waved her arm gracefully. From the wine drops, a shimmering lake appeared, right there in the middle of the grand ballroom. Then she waved her right arm, and from the tiny bones a flock of magnificent swans settled on the water. Wow, look at that. That was beautiful, beautiful. I'd like to go there. There's swans inside the palace. Not to be outdone, the 2 eyes flailed their arms wildly, but the wine from the sleeve splattered the guests. The bones flew out and smacked the Tsar on his royal chin. In a rage, he ordered them out of the banquet hall. Delighted with his 3rd daughter-in-law, the Tsar bowed to the charming frog princess and asked her to dance. As they did so, the prince slipped out of the palace and ran as fast as he could back to his chambers. He could not believe that his homely frog and his beautiful wife were one and the same. There on the floor next to his bed lay a shriveled green frog skin. Wow. Oh my goodness. Is he gonna get into it? I might test it out. I'm just kidding. Let's see. I literally forgot where was that. Let's see. Oh, if I burn it, Prince Ivan thought, she will remain a beautiful woman forever. So into the fire it went. What the? Later that night, Vasilisa returned home to find her skin turned to ashes. Oh dear prince, what have you done? She cried. If only you could have waited 3 more days. Now I'm lost to you forever. Unless you can find me in a kingdom beyond blue kingdoms. And in the blink of an eye, Vasilisa the Wise turned into a swan, leaped to the window ledge and vanished. Alone and heartbroken, Prince Ivan knew that his wife would never return, so with his father's blessing he left the palace to search for Vasilisa the Wise, and thus his long journey began. Ivan traveled the realm for 2 years, asking noble and peasant, merchant and shepherdess where he might find a kingdom beyond blue kingdoms. No one knew, or had the courage to say. Then one snow-lit morning he met a wise old man who greeted him kindly. "Welcome, noble prince, and where is the wind taking you?" "Ooh, look at that bear. I'm not afraid of it. I can take it on." Ivan told him all that had happened. The sad tale of a frog who was a princess. "Oh, Prince Ivan," the old man said, "what possessed you to burn the frog skin? It was not yours to take." "That's what I said. Vasilisa the Wise is an enchanted princess, and because she was born much cleverer than her father, he condemned her to live for 3 years as a frog. But you destroyed her skin 3 days before the evil spell would have ended. Here," the old man continued, "take this ball of yarn, throw it as far as you can, and follow wherever it leads you. As the yarn unwinds, so too will your fate." The prince thanked him for his advice. Puzzling as it was, he threw the ball of yarn deep into the ancient forest, set off to find it. In the winter-white woods among the gnarled trees, aching with ice, he suddenly found himself face to face with a bear. Prince Ivan readied his bow and took aim, but just as he was about to lose his arrow, the bear pleaded, "Spare me, Prince Ivan. The day is not off far when I can help you." "Oh, Alex, what is on your hand?" "Oh, that is a joint compound sealer." "Oh, okay. Is it bad?" "No, you can wash away." "Oh, okay. Anyways, so the prince put down his bow, watched the bear, and shuffled away through the snow, and threw the ball of yarn even farther. By midday, Ivan saw a falcon flying overhead. An hour later, by the shore of the deep blue lake, he spotted an enormous pike. Very tasty indeed, thought Ivan. He had taken out his bow and arrow to catch his dinner, but he shot neither the falcon nor the very tasty pike, for they had said exactly the same thing as the bear. "Spare me, Prince Ivan. The day is not far for when I can help you." Now that the sun rode swiftly down the sky and the night was huddled in trees, Ivan, hungry and tired, threw the yarn once more, and on it rolled through yet another forest. Stopping in front of the strange cottage that spun around on chicken feet, the young prince shouted, little but, stand the old way as thy mother stood thee, with thy back to the woods and thy front to me. Interesting. At once the hut stood still. Ivan went to the doorway, and standing there was Baba Yaga, the wicked, nasty, a witch, a hag, a crone. Oh my goodness. Take your pick. She was 3 in 1. Oh, that's kind of funny. And until now, no one had dared come near her. I'd come near her. "What do you want with me?" Baba Yaga demanded. "First prepare a bath and a bite to eat, Granny," the prince replied. "What the nerve, my goodness. Then I'll tell you my story." Taken back by the Prince Ivan's boldness, Baba Yaga took him in, fed him toadstool broth and crackleberry tea, and listened to his tale of woe. Then she said, "Your frog wife is a prisoner in the kingdom beyond blue kingdoms, in the castle of Koschei the Invincible. Unless you slay him," she continued, "you will never see Vasilisa again. Koschei is mightier than 10 legions, and 2 wicked times 3. Listen to me, Prince Ivan. His fate lies in the tip of a needle. A needle that is an egg. The egg is inside a duck. The duck is inside a wild hare. Not far from Koschei's castle, the hare sleeps in a golden cage, nestled in the branches of a tall oak. If you succeed where all others have failed, you will have your reward. Interesting. The next morning, Prince Ivan left Baba Yaga and set out for the kingdom beyond Blue Kingdoms. It was late, and in the day when he arrived at the foot of the oak tree, Zoo thought that its top was lost in the clouds. There on a high branch at the reach lay the golden cage. Ivan waited for nightfall when he knew Koschei would be sleeping. Then he shook the tree with all his might. Not a single leaf fluttered. Wow, weakling. I'm just kidding, I'm joking. Suddenly the bear, whose life Prince Ivan had spared, appeared out of nowhere. He wrapped his huge paws around the oak tree, pulling it up by its roots. As a strong bear. When the cage crashed to the ground and split open, the wild hare landed on a bramble bush and was torn to pieces. Oh my goodness. And out of its belly flew a duck. Whoa. Instantly the falcon, whose life Ivan had spared, chased the duck through the sky. Ivan ran after them until they reached the clearing that opened into the deep blue lake. Overhead, the duck, frightened by the screaming falcon, dropped her egg in the water. It sank to the bottom like a stone. Ooh, look at that guy. That's a nice looking pike. We're going to be making a pike soon. Ivan sat down at the far end of sadness. Even the waves grieved with him. The egg and needle were lost for good, and so now was his beloved Vasilisa. But soon there came another sound. The pike, whose life Ivan had spared, leaped up to the water's edge with the prince's precious egg in his jaws. Ivan waded into the shallow water, fetched the egg, cracked it open, and found the needle just as Baba Yaga had foretold. He bent the tip until it snapped off. Aye. At the instant, the air was filled with this mournful cry. Koschei, dying, invincible no more. Prince Ivan ran back to the evil castle. There, Vasilisa, the wise, even more beautiful than before, threw herself in his arms. My father's curse is broken, Prince Ivan. I am your bride forever. In 3 days' time, the young prince and his bride had returned to the royal palace, where the Tsar greeted them warmly. He ordered a grand homecoming feast, and there he announced that his third son, Prince Ivan, would succeed him as Tsar of all of Russia's. And from that time on, Ivan and Vasilisa lived, and they bared the door against misfortune. That was interesting. Well, that looks like it's it for this video. I hope you liked reading of the Frog Princess. Alrighty. Have a good day, good night, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.